Good day, everyone. Welcome to Immigration Questions live streaming program this beautiful afternoon. We are glad to have you join us. On today's episode, we will be touching on a relevant subject that affects every immigrant's journey: the August Visa Bulletin and its implications for your green card journey. I'm your host, Maliha Fatima. As you know, immigration up to date information to immigrants. Today's topic is for the multitude eagerly anticipating their turn in the employment based and family based immigration queues and projections in the Visa Bulletin. With me in today's session is one of the reputable attorneys we have registered on our lawyer network. He's a distinguished authority in immigration law. Mr. Sonulal is knowledgeable in all aspects of business immigration matters and has consistently guided the business towards unprecedented success and excellence. With over 15 years of experience in immigration law, Attorney Lal is knowledgeable in all aspects of business immigration matters such as H1B, E1, E2, L1A, L1B, O, and TN visas, as well as PERM, EB1, EB2, EB3, and EB5 cases, and much more. Welcome, Mr. Samulal, and thank you for availing yourself.
Thank you, Malia, for that kind introduction, and I'm happy to join you for this webinar.
We are thrilled to have you join us as we dive into the details of the latest visa bulletin and how it affects your path to obtain a green card. Before we get started, a few housekeeping notes to the audience. Please use the chat box feature of any social media platform you're joining from to submit your questions. We'll address them during your Q&A session later in the webinar. Now, let's dive right in. So, let's start with the basics, Mr. Sonulal. Can you explain what the Visa Bulletin is and why is it so important for green card applicants?
So let's start with the Visa Bulletin. What is Visa Bulletin? So Visa Bulletin is kind of a chart that the U.S. Department of State issues every month. What this bulletin does is it allows immigrants to file their green card based on their priority date. Now, what is a priority date? So priority date is a date written on your immigrant approval notice. So let's say in the context of family immigration, if you have filed I-130, or in employment-based immigration context, if there is an I-140 approval notice. On that approval notice, you will see two dates. One will say date received, one will say date of the decision, and one specifically will say that priority date. So for you to be able to get the green card, either it is based on employment or it's based on family, your priority date must be current, meaning the date which is written on your approval notice. It should be prior to the date written on that month's visa bulletin. I'll give you a small example on this. Let's say you're an immigrant, you're an employment-based immigrant from India, and then I-140 petition was filed on your behalf by your employer. It got approved, and it has a priority date. Let's say, in the first example, let's say your priority date is January 1st, 2015, and your visa category is EB2. So now what you will do is you will go to the visa bulletin, and then you go to the visa bulletin chart, and then you will see there are two charts. First one says final action dates for employment based preference cases. Other one will say date of filing chart. So now many times I get this question. So which chart do we look at? how do I find out whether my priority date is current or not? So just to give us this background about these two charts which are so confusing to people. So these two charts were started during Obama administration. Before that, there used to be only one chart. The objective behind issuing these two charts is on the one chart, in this case, the date of filing action chart, will have earlier date, and then the date of final action chart, according to that date, you will get your actual green card. So why there are two charts? So that people will be able to file their green card sooner. Although they will not get their green card, they will get other benefits, which means they can get their employment authorization based on green card, they can get their advance parole while their green card application is pending. So now every month since then, since Obama administration introduced this two chart system, every month USCIS, different department within the US government, announces that which chart, under which chart they will accept the I-45 application. So since we are talking about August Visa Bulletin, we'll talk about this in more detail. For August, USCIS has announced that for employment-based I-45 green card applications, they will accept as per the dates of filing chart. And for family-based immigration, they will accept the final action dates chart. So it's kind of confusing for normal people, but this is how the system works. So in the example that I was talking about, where an immigrant from India, employment-based category EB2, with priority date of January 1st, now they will open the visa bulletin. Since it is employment-based, they will go to the date of for filing chart, and they will see that in the chart there are different countries listed, and then there's one column which says all chargeability except those listed above. So you will see there are four countries listed: China, India, Mexico, Philippines. If you belong to any of those four countries, you will go to those dates. If not, you will go to the first column. So now in this example, if that person is from India, that person will go to employment based second preference category and go to India that column. It says July 22nd, 2012. What does it mean? It means that that person's priority date is not current. Then whose priority date is current? Anyone whose priority date says that July 21, 2012. If your date is later than that date, which means your priority date is not current and you cannot file your green card application. So that's how this system works. And this is a brief explanation how to look the visa bulletin and how to verify whether your priority date is current or not.
Thank you so much for the valuable insight, Mr. Sunulal. Now, just to understand, do they impact various applicants of the H-1B visa based on your like the explanation of your priority date? Does it anyhow impact on the H-1B visa?
So it's a relevant question. It kind of confuses people around how my H1B is related to this green card chart. So this is how it happens in practice. Most people who are working in the US on H1B, uh, when their employment-based petition I-140 is filed, a high chance they belong to the country which is backlogged, which means even though their immigrant petition I-140 is approved, but they still cannot file their green card. So when can they file their green card? They can file for their green card only when their priority date is current. So let's say somebody is from China. The priority date is May 31st, 2019, under EB2 category. So that person will look at his I-140 approval notice, go to the visa bulletin chart, and then look at the final, sorry, date for filing chart. and then go to country China, and then EB2, I can see that right now the priority date is June 1st, 2020, which means that person's priority date is current. That person is already here on H1B, so that person can file for their green card, even though that person is already here on H1B. That's how it impacts people who are already here on the H1B visas.
Right, absolutely, totally agree on that, Mr. Sunulal. Thank you so much for the valuable insight. To the audience, just this is just to inform you, we'll be taking your questions after the session, through the end of the session. Hi, Mr. Hafid. Thank you so much for joining us today. Moving on to our next question, Mr. Sonulal. Let's dive into the August Visa Bulletin, shall we? Like, if you can kindly highlight the key changes or trends we are seeing this month.
So, first of all, specifically about the August visa bulletin. As I mentioned, every month after the visa bulletin is issued, USCIS makes a separate announcement that under which chart they are accepting the green card I-45 applications. So for this month, USCIS has announced that if your green card is based on family preference category, in that case, they will accept your I-45 application based on final action dates chart. On the other hand, if your immigrant green card application I-45 is based on employment, meaning the basis is I-140, in that case, they will accept the application as per the dates for filing chart. So look at your approval notice. If it is based on family, you will go to the final action chart. If it is based on employment, you will go to the date for filing chart and decide for yourself whether you are eligible to file. And so far, to generalize, for if you are employment-based category, do not belong to China, India, Mexico, Philippines, you can file for your green card under EB2 if your priority date is before March 1st, 2023. In that case, you can file for your green card. If it is EB1, which means it is current already, you can file it. If it is EB3, right now it's February 1st, 2023. So if it is your priority date is before that, you will be eligible to file for your green card. So that's a brief about the August visa bulletin.
Thank you so much for the insight. That was certainly valuable, Mr. Sonulal. Moving on to our next question. It definitely seems like applicants in the family based and employment based categories are more affected here. Now that we understand the changes, what does this mean for individuals currently in the green card process? Can you please share your insights on how applicants should respond to these updates?
So uh, people who are already kind of in green card process, meaning they already have immigrant petition approved and they are waiting for their dates to current, they can look at the chart, and if they think that their priority date is going to be current soon, what they can do is they can start preparing uh, their documents. So let's say if they are within family-based category, if you anytime if you are filing your green card based on your family preference categories, you would need a sponsor's affidavit. It is called I-864 form issued by USCIS. What this form says is that the petitioner who is signing that form will be essentially financially responsible for you. In some cases, if the petitioner's income is very low, what they would need to be able to file their green card application is that they would need a joint sponsor. So they can look at the August chart right now. If they think their priority date is going to be current soon and their income is so low, they would need a joint sponsor. They can probably start looking for the joint sponsor now. Just to clarify to the audience, anyone can be joint sponsor. It need not be your relative. It can be a friend or a distant relative, as long as that person is a US citizen or at least a green card holder and has a decent income. So if you are looking at the chart, your priority date is going to be current soon. You can start collecting the documents which are required for the green card application.
Sure. Thank you so much for the valuable insight, Mr. Sunulal. Yes, we heard you, Mr. James. James, we've got your question. We will be addressing it by the end of the session. Thank you so much for asking the question. Moving on to our next question, for those whose priority date has become current, what are the next steps that are to be taken for them?
Yes, that's a good question. So if you see that your priority date is current and you are already in the US, which means you can file your green card application. And how you file your green card application? You file it on form, what is called Form I-45. Now, whenever you're filing your Form I-45, you're allowed to file other kind of benefits also, such as you can file your employment authorization document. So if you want that, you can file Form 765. If you want to be able to travel to internationally after filing for your green card, you can also file your advance parole document. You can file it on Form I-131. So you can start preparing all these forms along with the supporting documents. And when you submit your green card application, you are also required to submit your medicals. You can probably schedule an appointment for your medicals. You can get it done and you can submit along with your green card application. So these are the steps people can take whose priority date is already current and they are about to file their green card application.
Absolutely, Mr. Sunulal. Thank you so much for the valuable insight there. It definitely seems like applicants in the family-based and employment-based categories are more affected here. Now that we've understood the changes and we've understood what happens if the dates are current, what does this mean for individuals who are currently in the green card process? Can you please share your insights on how applicants should respond?
So first of all, uh, you have to figure out whether your priority date is current or not. The visa bulletin chart confuses a lot of people. Uh, I often get asked, how do I verify whether my priority date is current? So just I'm making it easier for listeners. When you go to the visa bulletin chart, you decide what country you belong to. There are only four countries listed in the chart: China, India, Mexico, Philippines. If you do not belong to these four countries, then you will fall under what it says all chargeability area except those listed. So you will look at that column and then see under which category you fall: EB2, EB3, or in family based context, is it F1, F2A, F2B, so on and so forth. So once you are confirmed that your priority date is current, then as I mentioned in the previous question, you can start collecting documents and then you are ready to submit your green card application.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the valuable insight, Mr. Sunulal. Moving on to our next question, are there any specific trends or patterns you've noticed in the recent visa bulletins that could impact future applicants?
So with the recent changes, very specific that I can point out, earlier when people were filing their green card application, uh, the validity of the medicals used to be 2 years only. So if your green card application was not decided within 2 years, then USCIS would issue you an what is called an RFE, requested for an updated medicals. But now that has changed with the recent announcement, your medicals have indefinite validity. So you will not have to submit the medicals again. So what we are recommending to our clients that they should be submitting their medicals along with the green card application without thinking that they will have to submit it again in future. because getting the medical, it costs some money. Sometimes it ranges between $200 to $600. And if you have family of four is filing a green card application, it is a lot of money. So that we used to think twice whether we should submit or not, but now we are advising they should be submitting the medicals.
Thank you so much for the valuable advice here, Mr. Sonulal. For the audience, if you're just joining us, this is immigrationquestion.com live webinar session. Immigrationquestion.com is a revolutionary platform that connects immigrants and users with qualified immigration attorneys. You can ask your questions for free and you'll be connected to a verified attorney registered on the platform. For immigration attorneys, this is your opportunity to scale your practice to the next level. Register as an attorney and get up to 10 free clients leads upon sign up. Now we'll open the floor for question and answers. Please feel free to type your questions in the chat box and we'll try to address as many as possible. So we do have a couple of questions already, Mr. Sonulal. We have Mr. Hafid who's saying hi from Morocco. Hi, Mr. Hafid. Thank you for joining us today. We have Mr. James. With the question, what about I-140 petition?
So if somebody has I-140 petition, they need to figure out under which category. Is it EP1, EP2, EP3? And depending on that, and depending on from what country they belong, they can look at the chart. They're falling under EP1, EP2, EP3, and then decide whether the priority date is current or not.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the advice, Mr. Sunulal. We have another question from Ms. Monica. What are the most common mistakes applicants make when interpreting the visa bulletin?
That's a very good question. So here are the common mistakes. For the most confusing part for normal people is these two charts. So I get this question a lot. First of all, which chart do I look at? So just understand this. To get your green card, your priority date should be current at the final action dates chart. If you are looking at dates for filing chart and you are telling me that my priority date is current, why am I not getting my green card? The reason is you will not get your green card based on dates for filing chart. You will only get your green card only when your priority date is current under final action dates chart. So just to clarify that. Second thing, every month you don't even have to look only at the visa bulletin. You also have to look simultaneously what USCIS is saying about the visa bulletin, under which chart they're accepting the application. So if your priority date is current under dates for filing chart and you are a family-based immigrant, you cannot file your application in August because USCIS has announced that they will accept the application as per the final action dates chart. So these are the confusion and questions very common that we receive most of the time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the advice, Mr. Sunulal. Moving on to our next question from Mr. Jafar. What resources are available for applicants to stay informed about visa bulletin and updates and changes in immigration law? Mr. Jaffer, you can visit our website, immigrationquestions.com. You are very welcome to use that as the resource because we update everything on timely basis. And if at all you need an attorney to clarify things, we can also help you with an attorney's consultation. Moving on to our next question, Mr. Sonulal from Helen. Can changes in the visa bulletin affect my current work status if I'm on H-1B visa, please? Thanks.
Sorry. So if you are currently working on H-1B visa, the changes in the visa bulletin will not affect your H-1B status. Both are separate things and separate processes.
Absolutely, Mr. Sonulal. We have our next question from Wiko Marth. How can I respond if my priority date is no longer current?
So if your priority date is not current, You will have to wait for your priority date to become current to be able to file for a green card. And if you are already in the US, you will have to maintain your non-immigrant status so that at the time your priority date is current, you will be able to file your green card application. If your uh, priority date is current and you are out of status, which means you are no longer maintaining a non-immigrant status, then your green card application will not be approved. So keep in mind, if your priority date is not current, you're already in the US, you have to maintain a non-immigrant status. If not, leave the US and then wait for your priority date to become current.
Right. Moving on to our next question from Ms. Steph. How long does the process take?
So if your priority date is current and you're filing your 45, the general timeline for this process, I would say 9 to 12 months. So if your priority date is current, you should be getting your green card within less than a year. Just to point out, recently we are hearing that the green card application are getting adjudicated in a very fast manner. Sometimes we heard even within 4 months people got their green card.
Right. We have another question coming from Sean. Are there any strategies I can use to potentially fast track my green card process?
Uh, in employment-based context, um, let's say if you are from a backlogged country, then and you are under EB2, you can look for your option if you can qualify for EB1. For EB1, the priority rate is much faster, so you can explore that option. But that's the only way that you can fast track your green card process.
Moving on to our very last question, Mr. Sarulal. Moving on to our very last question. What factors contribute to the fluctuation in visa bulletin numbers?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So the factors, what influences or what factors in the visa bulletin is the demand and supply of visas. Every month, uh, when the Department of State issues visas or immigrant visas, they report, and then based on that report, they say how much have been issued and how much are we left with on the basis of the total number of allocations. Based on that, the visa dates fluctuates.
All right. Thank you so much for the valuable insight, Mr. Sonulal. On a last note from our special guest, what advice do you have for individuals who are just beginning for their green card journey?
So I normally say this: the U.S. immigration laws are complex, very, very complex. So if you are going through the immigration process, I highly recommend seeking a proper immigration counsel who can help you through this immigration journey of yours.
Sure. We have one last question from Grace. What is one new way my family and I can move to US without H1?
Without H-1B, if an employer can sponsor you under EB2 category, then you can come with your family with a green card based on EB2 category, and then you wouldn't need an H-1B for that.
I hope that answered your question, Miss Grace. We have one more last question from Ms. Jitinma. Are there any predictions or trends to note?
It's hard to say about the prediction at this time. We will see after 2 3 months how the dates are moving. Then probably we'll be more comfortable in making some kind of predictions about the dates.
Absolutely, Mr. Sonulal. We are closing the floor for now for Q&A. If anyone has any more questions, you may please feel free to reach out to our website, immigrationquestion.com. You can reach out to us on our website or even call us or even drop us a text. Thank you so much, Mr. Sonulal, for sharing your expertise with us today. We do not take your presence despite your tight schedule for granted. And thank you, our audience, for joining us. And we hope this webinar has provided valuable insights into the August Visa Bulletin and its impact on your green card journey. Do,
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sunulal. Do not forget to explore all that immigration question has to offer. Visit our website www.immigrationquestion.com to sign up today and start getting your immigration questions answered. Are you an immigration attorney looking to grow your practice with zero cost application? Register on immigrationquestion.com and have up to 10 free client leads sent your way. Stay tuned to our next live streaming program. We have another guest speaker lined up. That's attorney Vanita Patil with her legal expertise. She will be doing justice to a recent trending immigration news that concerns H-1B applicants and employers. All you need to know about the second lottery. See you same time next week. Until then, stay informed and proactive in your green card journey. Have a great day, everyone. Yes, Mr. James, you can call us. Our number is. You can also visit our website. Our website is www.immigrationquestion.com. If at all you'd like to reach out to us, you can also give us a call. And our number is 516-703-3483. I shall repeat it for you. 516-703-3483. That's our number that you can call on. And if at all you still didn't get it, you can visit our website. We also have a chat feature. You can drop your query there, or you may please call us directly.